Welcome. I am Mark Dundas, and this is Tech Works MCIP Series Training, Part 1, Overview of the Product. Let's talk briefly about this training. This is technical training, not sales training, and it is designed for those that will be either installing or designing Tech Works MCIP Series equipment. We assume that you have a basic understanding of communication products such as intercom. In other words, we're not going to tell you what an intercom is or a nurse call is. We're going to talk about how MCIP is designed to meet those needs and what it does, how it does it. The structure is 4 parts. It is slideshows with a narrative, and the 4 parts are product system overview, which is this part 2, which is the parts and pieces, Part 3, system wiring, Part 4, system programming, which is the biggie. This system is very software based. There are presentation guide handouts. If you would like to pause this presentation, go back to the website, download the PDF. There is a place to take notes on the handout. There are also certification tests available for people once you have taken all 4 parts. Take all 4 parts of the test, pass all 4 parts, and we are happy to send you a certificate of authorization to represent TechWorks in the installation and service of MCIP products. What is MCIP? Modular Communication Internet Protocol. It is a network-controlled intercom. You can have multiple operators with lots of flexibility, programmable station select, call forwarding, all those features that are available through programmable control. Operator to operator communication, again, fully programmable, who can call who and how they answer. Flexible paging zones. Each operator can have up to 16 independent zones that include any operator and any remote. IP, network streaming audio connections. What does that mean? It means that we use the IP network of things to connect devices that are audio channels. So in other words, we use the network as if it were a piece of wire. We connect a speaker to a microphone so that people can hear each other. In the way we do this, it makes it sound just like a hardwired system, but has all the flexibility and integration of the network of things. The system is very expandable. You can put together 32 systems in an interconnected system. So a basic network is 32 operators and 32 station interfaces, each with 16 ports for 16 speakers, for a total of 512 remotes to 32 operators. In an expanded network, you can tie 32 networks together. That gives you 32 times 32, which equals 1,024 operators, and 32 times 32 times 16 ports for 16,384 remote stations, all in one big system. The key to this is, because of the architecture, you're putting together 32 basic systems, which means that those 32 basic systems that are all connected to make this large system are independent networks, and this creates and allows redundancy. Where is MCIP used and why? Public safety. Its reliable performance and its easy integration with control systems makes it a very, very nice, easy solution for things like detention, cell to guard communication, police stations, sally ports, holding cells, courthouses, very similar to police stations, security desks where a security guard might be monitoring several doors. We can even do camera interface so that you can see the door and talk to it. Interrogation. You might have a facility with multiple interrogation rooms, and you might want to monitor them from one or more locations. You can tie them all together with MCIP. Isolation cells, where you might have people that you need to keep an eye on. Again, healthcare. The key in healthcare tends to be hands-free. The scrubbed environment where the doctor is, he can't touch anything, but they need crystal clear audio to communicate. Now, this can be also prison infirmaries where you need a nurse call, a very specialized nurse call. But it can also be isolation rooms where you've got specialized diseases and you don't want to always enter the room. You got to scrub and re-scrub and take on and off protective clothing. You can talk in and out of that room before you enter and go in more prepared. Operating rooms where you've got the total scrubbed environment, and outside you have an observation area looking through a glass, but they need hands-free communication. Observation rooms in things like sleep labs, behavioral health, child development. These can all be handled very easily with the MCIP solution. Chemotherapy sterile compounding labs are a very unique environment where we've had a tremendous amount of success. You may have one or two, maybe even three pharmacists outside of the sterile compounding environment that are supervising technicians inside of that sterile compounding lab. The sterile compounding lab tends to be a very noisy, troublesome acoustic environment, and yet they need to communicate to supervise the mixing of these sterile compounds. So very challenging acoustic environment. We've had a great amount of success working in these environments. What does it look like? Well, you can have a touchscreen that we provide the entire intercom console and the touchscreen, or you can buy just a console, an audio console, operator desk console, and you can interface it to your touchscreen and your control system network. So this is a control system network, and it connects to the Tech Works MCIP intercom network. You then have control modules going out and talking to standard 25-volt speaker hardware. And the whole thing is orchestrated by an MCIP host or server control unit. Why MCIP? You can have multiple operators. With multiple operators, you get call forward, call capture, advanced ringing capabilities, off-premise operators. You can have flexible remote interface. You can use standard 25-volt speaker stations, or you can use our 25-volt speaker stations, which include some features like lighted call buttons, key switch, remote cancel, different things that we provide, but you can use standard off-the-shelf 25-volt speakers. You can even reuse existing wiring in a lot of systems. Flexible paging. Any station or any operator can be in any page zone. If you've got a page zone with higher power requirements, like an exercise yard, you just add a power amplifier where needed. Nurse call. We can drive dome lights. We have vandal-proof stations specifically designed with a local cancel button or remote cancel. Call confirmation lights on the station, ADA compliant, so the person who's being talked to knows they're being listened to. We also have key switches available to both activate and reset these stations if that's desirable. What matters and why? In detention and public safety and in healthcare. Detention and public safety, easy installation. This whole thing works on category cables. You don't have to have special custom cables. It all works on Cat 5, Cat 6. Works on existing field wiring. You don't have to re-pull all the wire out to the cells. In most cases, you can reuse what's already there. Standard 25-volt speakers. If you've got working speakers, we can handle them. We don't need to replace them. It's easy to maintain. There's no special training. A call comes in, the thing rings, you select the station that's blinking, and you talk. There's nothing that's really hard to understand, and the staff doesn't need a lot of training. Here's a key feature of this design, though. The host maintains the programming and the personality of every station. This is all backed up on a micro SD card. Each of these boxes has a device ID that's set by a rotary address switch. What this means is the box that is doing a function, let's say it's an operator desk console, let's say it breaks, it goes down, it isn't operational. You need to swap it. All you do is take a new one, set the address switch, this rotary switch inside the unit to match the old device, plug it into the network. It hot swaps right on a PoE connection if it's a PoE device, and it is assigned its IP address off of that ID switch. It then goes to the host, and the host gives it its programming. So you don't need to reprogram the system when you hot swap a box. It goes to the host. The host says, oh, you've got X amount of stations on this remote control module, and this is how they're programmed. It's all contained in the host, and it's all backed up on a micro SD card. Everything in this system runs on 24 volts DC, so it's easy for code compliance. What matters and why in healthcare? In prison infirmaries, they need vandal-proof station hardware, and we make a variety of those, again, with buttons, lights, local cancel, remote cancel, all those kinds of things. And it creates simple audio-visual communication. You don't need a lot. You need something that's very reliable and vandal-proof. Assisted living, this product provides e-call without a dome light. You can have a dome light if you need one or want one, but if privacy is a concern, as it is in a lot of assisted living environments, you can have the speaker in the room without having a dome light out in the hall. Not really a nurse call. It's not meant for UL 1069 listed acute care. This is an intercom with some nurse call features. In behavioral health, sometimes these two color lights associated with each station give staff protection, because if a red light comes on, that means staff is in need of assistance. If a white light comes on, it means the patient is calling. Simple things like that. Anti-ligature stations. All of our stations are available with no pull strings, no cords, no nothing that anyone could hurt themselves or someone else with. We can also interface to our collaborative intercom product. So we have an MCIP to CI interface that allows professional quality hands-free audio to multiple operators and multiple procedure/clean rooms. Everything is fully programmable as to who can call who. Operator to operator communication. So let's say that you want auto answer. What does that mean? It means that I call you and you don't have to touch a thing. I automatically open up the voice channel and I can hear you talking without you touching a thing. However, let's say you want privacy. You don't want me calling and hearing what you're saying without you controlling the conversation. We can program your operator console so that the only way you get that call is if you push a button to take that call, and you push to talk button to activate your microphone every time you want me to hear you. So you can have it totally hands-free response, or you can have it totally controlled response for privacy reasons. Also associated with all of our stations is privacy tones, meaning that every 10 to 20 seconds, there is a beep that alerts the person that they are being listened to. That again is turned off station by station. You turned on, turned off, station by station. You can limit what stations call what operators and what operators are available to other operators. This can be done through screen icons, but it can also be done through programmable ringing. In other words, every station can have a unique ring sound, so you can tell that this is an operator call versus a station call, for instance. Call relay versus call forward, they are not the same thing. Stations are individually assigned to operators. So when you push a button in a cell, it is assigned to call one or more operators. It can call multiple operators. It can call up to 32 operators in a basic system. You can route where that call goes based on who pushed the button. If you put an operator into call forward, all of their calls are sent to another operator location. That's like if you're shutting down a guard location, you forward all of the calls to another guard. However, if you don't want to do that, you can have a relay programmed so that if I don't answer within a certain time frame, that call relays, not forwards, but relays to another station. You can also have it so that if my calls are relayed or forwarded, my console still rings. That means that if I go back and I'm available to take a call, I can answer the call and it will override the forward or relay. So those are all options that are programmable. And again, you can have things local ring or not local ring when they are relayed or forward. You can also have these unique ringtones so that you can tell that these calls are forwarded calls versus the calls that you would normally receive. Two versions of MCIP ODC. This is our operator desk console. We build it with a 10-inch touchscreen. This is usually for prison infirmary and security intercom, where we deliver a standalone intercom, not integrated at all with any other systems. However, we do make this same unit without the touchscreen, and it is specifically designed for integration with PLC control systems and camera systems. These units are PoE or local power. So if you can't get PoE to them for some reason, you can get local power. They do have local power jack. You just don't, you use one or the other, never both, in other words. There are two versions of the MCIP 116. This is our station, or remote station interface control module. It has one audio path for 16 stations. There are two versions. The MCIP 116 is the basic unit, which has a 4-pin connector on each of 16 channels. Each of those 4-pin connectors has a single audio pair plus shield plus a call-in wire. No light. We also make the MCIP 116-NC2, which has 16 RJ45 connectors, each with 2 call-in points and 2 indicator light outputs. That means that for every speaker pair, there are 2 call buttons, and you can have 2 different indicator lights per speaker port. We also make the MCIP MSI-11, which is a microphone speaker interface. This is for your healthcare environment or your specialty observation rooms where you need bidirectional hands-free audio with very professional microphones. This gives you highly articulate listening. It also has 25-volt speaker output for up to 10 watts of speaker load. It has CI bus interface, so you can connect it to our traditional collaborative intercom products. It's got built-in filters, so you can tune it to the acoustics of the room. And inside the box, there's jumper options to determine how this module functions. And we'll talk more about this when we get into the hardware a little bit more. It also has the ability to have a remote output light. What's that for? Well, if you're in a medical environment and you want the staff to know they're being listened to, you can easily hook up a light that tells them, hey, your microphone is live, someone is listening to you. So what is a host? A host is the system controller for 544 stations. This is 32 operator consoles and 512 remote stations equals 544 stations. It functions on a dedicated, unmanaged private network. We don't want anything else on that network because we don't want DHCP. We will assign the IP addresses, and we don't want any latency. In other words, we don't want to share bandwidth with your cameras. So we want this host and our audio devices on a dedicated private network. The host processes call requests. So when someone pushes a call button, it has programming that determines what operators ring. It cancels the ring when a call is answered. It makes an IP connection to allow the streaming audio from the remote station to the operator is connected, just like it was a wire. Then it gets out of the way. It doesn't have any interaction when a call is in process. It's sitting there handling other call requests, doing whatever else needs to be done. When that call is ended, an end of call command is sent to the host, and it disconnects the IP audio connection. The host stores all of the system configurations on a micro SD card. Each system device, except the host, has a rotary identification switch inside of it, which tells the host who it is. The ID switch assigns a static IP address to each device. The host then receives that information when this unit is connected to the network and sends that box its profile, its programming. This way, you can configure an entire system in the shop, save it to an SD card, go out in the field, pop the SD card in the host, and all of the personality of your stations is all there. Also, this allows you to swap boxes because if you have a box fail, all you do is set the IP address. The host knows what its profile is supposed to be. And the minute you plug that new device in with that ID switch set to that IP address, the host automatically updates the profile for that station and how it's supposed to function. These boxes are both PoE and 24 volt, never both. So you can run it off of the PoE on the IP connection, or you can plug it into local power, but never both. What's a server? It does everything a host does. It has a host inside of it. So it's basically got two functions. It's the 544 station system controller. Got 32 operators. It's got 512 remote stations, processes call requests, stores all the system configuration. Plus, it's got a second IP connector here that says LAN WAN. This goes to your network. This gives you the ability to have your basic system stand alone within a building, but then interconnect with other buildings. This could be to an admin building, to an adjacent space, doesn't matter. That connection goes to your LAN WAN router, which you then set up for your network. But this box controls all your IP host interface for the local network through this separate IP connection over here. And this goes out to the Internet of Things. You also have USB and HDMI connectors here because how you program this is you plug a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse in, and you set this up just like any other network device. You set the IP address. You set up how you want this thing to function on your network. This gives you 32 network expansion because you can connect 32 of these together on your network. That gives you 1,024 operators and 16,384 remote stations. It is locally 24-volt DC powered only. How do I program MCIP? This is the MCIP configurator program. It is a Windows-based program that you load on your laptop. You set up each of your host configurations, whether this is loaded into a server host or a standalone host. You program it for that box. And here's your console configurations, and here's your remote station configurations. What are the field hardware options? Well, standard VPSS is just a standard speaker station with a call button, no light. We also make the VPSS-L, which has a lighted call button. We also make the MC NC2 VPSS 2G, 2-gang, which is your vandal-proof staff assist or patient call button. It can be local cancel, or the RC version does not have the local cancel button. It has a lighted call button. So local cancel or remote cancel. We also make the non-speaker station, which is the MC VPBL or the VPBL RC. Again, no cancel. This is a remote cancel. This is your local cancel. We also make key switches. These key switches can be to either activate some button in the room or to remotely cancel some button in the room, depending on how you hook this up. We also make a couple of dome lights. The NC2DL22-RW is specifically designed for the MC product in a 2-color red-white. We also make the 4-color. This is the unit for monitoring 4 different ports going into one room. So in other words, if you had 4 beds in a room, each with their own speaker station, this would tell you which one was active. Standard 25-volt speakers, both ceiling speakers, wall speakers, and paging horns are available. MCIP pieces, how they go together. So you've got your operator desk console, ODC. You've got your station interface panels, 116. You've got your industry standard speaker hardware, 25-volt. And you've got your TCP IP network. This is a unmanaged, I should say, not managed, unmanaged switch, meaning it's not assigning IP addresses. It's not doing anything other than passing packets. And then you have your host or server. That's all there is to a system. There's not a lot of parts. So a basic system could be that you have your own touchscreen operator desk consoles, or you could be an integrated system with you providing your own touchscreen, your own control system network, and just interface to it. You get to select. Standalone intercoms obviously would have their own touchscreen because you need a control mechanism to take and place calls. The nurse call product is always a standalone system. Doesn't have to be, but it pretty much always is a standalone system. This entire system functions on Cat5 or Cat6. So you've got your TCP IP connectivity, but you've also got analog station interfaces all done over Cat series cable. All of these dome lights have a plug in, plug out. So connect to your control module, out to your dome light, out of your dome light into your speaker station. You don't have to have a dome light. You can go straight to the speaker station. Speaker station has an in and an out, so it can go to another station. We'll talk more about how this all works together. You can even have two ports hooked to a single dome light. So for instance, in the case where you might have two individual speakers with their own talk path in a room, you can have this set up so that one lights the white light and one lights the red light. Or you can have it so both of these stations light the white light, and you might have a staff assist button in the room that then lights the red light when staff needs assistance. All of that is assignable by the installer at the station. Really flexible. When you got multiple systems, you've got a network, but you've now got a server. If you remember, your control system network in a basic system connected directly to the network of the MCIP. However, when you are in a server-based system with 32 independent systems, the connectivity is from that second port. So this connection is your local host connection, controlling your audio connections, and this is your interface connection from the WAN port on the server to your network of things that goes out throughout your campus and talks to another server in this location and maybe another server over here in this location. But that's on the backside of your network infrastructure, and you set up that port to interface with your IP address scheme, whatever that might be. That pretty much does it for MCIP in an overview. The tools that are available for you is the website is always there, 24/7, 365. There's product brochures, there's specifications for architects and engineers. There's custom specs if you need them. There's always data sheets. We're happy to do design and quoting assistance. We've got questionnaires to help you put systems together. We're happy to do design review. You do your own design, send it to us in an email. We're happy to take a look at it. If you want to develop budgets, we can do quotes for budgets. All of this is there to help you increase your margin. Technical assistance is always available. There's the training and installation manuals that are available online, plus tech support if you need it. Always best to email us for tech support. We can get it no matter where we are. If you call, probably not at our desk. We're never at our desk. So give us an email, tell us how we can help, and we're happy to help. Training is available online for all of our products now. You can go to our website and under the product tab, training materials, all of the different products are listed. You can go in and watch these videos and take the test. We recommend that technical people take all four parts of every product. Sales staff should take parts 1 and 2. It's going to help you. It's going to make your job easier. That does it for part 1. Thank you for your time today. Next up is part 2, parts and pieces.